Hey, hi everyone, and hi Arnold. How you doing?
Hello, hello. Good, thanks. Yeah, nice. It's Friday again. Yeah, it's good.
Definitely, definitely. Today we're going to discuss two in one, two for the price of one, exciting options in Europe. So, Arnold, first of all, why is Europe kind of such a great place to be and to teach at the moment, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting. We've been having programs in Europe for the last 6 years, and I think from the outset, we've had a lot of interest. I think Europe is such an interesting place. I mean, in terms of the culture and the fact that you can travel so easily. So yeah, I think a lot of appeal. I mean, obviously, we went together to Warsaw
Oh.
about 3 years ago, or no, 2.5 years ago now. Yeah, we saw it for ourselves. It was amazing. There's so much culture, such a interesting place. So yeah, definitely see the appeal.
Yeah, and I think two small points is for British teachers, it's a really, maybe a more appealing place because it's so close to home. If
Yeah.
you've got family that you want to see regularly, it does make it a bit easier than if you're in China or Thailand for sure. And then for US teachers, it's such an incredible experience to kind of live in the heart of Europe, I think, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we were talking about at the time is that, for you from the UK or for me growing up in the Netherlands and living in the UK now, it still has a different flavor in that part of Europe, Poland and Hungary that we're talking about. So yeah, it's close. It's a 2 hour flight, from home, but it's definitely still culturally in an interesting place as well, for sure.
Well, you've answered my next question. Where are the two programs, two cities that we're going to discuss today?
Yeah, so it's Poland, and in Poland at the moment, our program is focused basically exclusively in Warsaw, and then Hungary, and that is Budapest, the capital.
Fantastic. So, two capital cities. I think first, let's talk about Warsaw because we've actually been not only to the city, but also to the schools, so we can have first-hand experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's a school we've been working with for a good 4 or 5 years. Really wonderful owner, really hands-on. There's really a lot to like about the school. I think we were there around Halloween, and there was a
Mhm.
lot of activity, a lot of arts and crafts. It's a kindergarten. So one of the factors for Poland for this position is that it's really important. That's an age group you really are strongly interested in because they're young kids, age 2 to 6, because they do go to school, I think, a bit later, she was telling us, like in Poland. So, yeah, age range between 2 and 6. And it's a job where you're kind of working with them really intensively, kind of as their main teacher, because it's a private kindergarten, so it's Monday to Friday.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, it was a really good vibe at the school, and it seems like a really nice community. So I think it would be a fantastic place to work. And the city itself was amazing, wasn't it? Maybe tell everyone a little bit about Warsaw and how we enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot to like. I think what really stood out to me a lot was well, I think the vibe, and I've been telling people this a lot during the interviews I've done in the past years, is that when I went to China many years ago, it just you felt like it was on the rise, and there was a lot of positivity in the air because it was developing quickly and developing for the better. And I felt like Poland had obviously a different culture, a different place, but it had a similar energy to me, which I really enjoyed. And yeah, about the city as well. It's just really scenic. I think, we were in the old town walking around. I remember we went to a piano recital sort of in the heart of the old town in Warsaw. And it was just really a great experience and really a cultural feel kind of to it. And the other thing I would say is that the infrastructure was really good. Like I think we remember we would take the tram together. It's really convenient. It was really clear. Like as a new visitor in the city, it was really clear sort of how it all worked and what it was about. So yeah, really good and infrastructure. And look, in terms of the affordability, I've heard sort of slightly different things in terms of some people saying that it's more expensive than it once was, but compared to the UK or the
Mm.
US or something like that, it is a lot more affordable than those places as well.
Definitely, yes. And 2 points that I'd like to add is the multicultural side to the city. While Arnold was at a piano recital, I went on a night out and I met people from Africa, from all over the world, basically. And there's a really strong Vietnamese community there. So who'd have thought in Poland's capital you can get some amazing Vietnamese food? So that's a plus. And also it's very safe. I always felt safe, and everyone that we've had there, all our teachers have said it feels really safe, safer than a certain capital city in the UK, I think, as in
Yeah.
general. Yeah.
I think that's right. And I think another thing that stands out with me in my mind in terms of Poland is that we started basically in 2020 during the pandemic year. Like we started sending people to Poland. And since then, a lot of the people some of the people even who went then sort of are still there. And people who went 3, 4 years ago are still there. And other people who've come back to the UK are maybe still traveling there recently. So I think it's a place that people visit and either they like it so much that they're staying or that they want to kind of go back regularly. So yeah, really good sign.
Fantastic. And the next placement is in Budapest, in Hungary.
Yeah, so this is our third year now that we're sending people there. I think both places have a lot to like. I think one of the things that perhaps is an advantage in Budapest is that accommodation is taken care of. And when I talk to candidates, that is something that's obviously something that people often ask about. So that is something that you perhaps get more of in Budapest because you get a salary in UK pounds that is something like £1,000 or 1,100, something in between that per month, and you can choose to either get that full amount and find your own housing, or basically get 2/3 of that and get 1/3 in the form of free housing. So you would kind of get your housing arranged, and you get your utility and all your bills paid as well. So yeah, that's an option that I think a lot of our teachers have ultimately chosen, the free housing one, because you get your own room in a shared apartment with someone else from the program. So yeah, it's really convenient and it's also good socially and stuff. Um, and then also what's a big draw, I think, is that there's 3 weeks of paid training. So our main intake in the year in Budapest, in both places actually, is the summer, so the late summer. So in Poland, it would be a start in August, and in Hungary, it would be a start in arrival in July. So then you get in Hungary, you get 3 weeks of paid training as well before you start with a bigger group of people. So some training with something like 50 people.
Fantastic. Yeah, and tell everyone a little bit about the school and where they could be working in Budapest.
Yeah, so the school in Budapest is the idea of it is that there's schools, state schools, regular public schools in the heart of Budapest. Some of them opt into a type of education where they get some of the curriculum in English. So this
Mhm.
means that you're going to a place where the families and the children who go there have kind of opted into that, so they're bought in that sense. And there's a really good support system because you teach with a Hungarian teacher present, so you're teaching a class of 25 or 30 children with the two of you working side by side as colleagues. So there's a lot of support, and the idea is basically something like a family where both parents speak two different languages to the kids. So it's like the Hungarian teacher speaks for 5 minutes in Hungarian, and then you speak in English for 5 minutes. So yeah, it's a really good supportive environment. And something I found strongly now we're also doing international school placements around Europe is that this placement in Budapest is very transferable to sort of international schools because in this program they're using something called the Cambridge curriculum. So Cambridge curriculum is often used by international schools, and then of course the class size and the general vibe of the job is kind of transferable to potentially working in another European school, international school. So now we're having kind of a little track where we're getting every year we're getting a few people from our Hungary program who've done that for a year or two who are then going on to our international school program. So it's really exciting. So yeah, I think the Hungary one I often recommend for people who want to go into teaching or just looking if that's something they want to do. This is a really good option for that.
Fantastic. And although neither of us have actually been to the city, we've heard absolutely fantastic things from all our teachers, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really made me very keen to go ASAP. I think it's just a place that I often for Hungary, I've really often talked to people who've been there as tourists and just really want to go back. So again, like similar to with Poland, I think that's obviously a really good sign. And I think, what they say is that people are really friendly, that there's a good level of English in the city, and that there's obviously tons to see and do in it. And I think it's referred to as kind of the Paris of the East or something to that extent, like in Eastern Europe. So yeah, a lot to like.
Fantastic. I think there's two great options there, and I think they offer something very culturally rich and something very interesting, not to mention the kind of great school life and the kind of systems that are put into place for you, especially in Hungary, but also within the school we visited in Warsaw. It's just such a nice place to be. So I think, yeah, they're two fantastic options in the middle of Europe for lots of holidays around the continent. So, Arnold, is there anything else you want to mention before we get off?
Not really. I think that mainly covers it. The thing I would say is that I'm finding recently I'm talking to a lot of candidates who are thinking about Europe and are potentially open to either of these options. So one of the
Mhm.
reasons we want to do this video is just to kind of give you a bit of a preview of what's generally on offer, what it would be like. But I would say if you're looking at this and you're generally interested in Europe and you want to just maybe apply with us and just chat with me about which of these options is better for you, that's totally fine because that's kind of what I'm doing with a lot of people. And just to kind of have the call and then figure out in the course of that call to see which one's ultimately the better fit for you.
Brilliant. Well, with that in mind, we'll put your email and a link
Yeah.
to the website down below so you can check out both options. And yeah, I hope this has been really useful and it will help you decide which European capital will be your adventure in 2026. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Arnold,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
Okay, great. See you soon. Thanks.